RehabSportsGuys.com. This is the Rehab Sports Guys, and our Hog Sports Addiction meeting starts now. We are.
What's up, everybody? Welcome in. It's the Talking Hogs Live by Rehab Sports Guys. This is the villain, and I'm with the wizard. What's up, Jesse?
What's up, man? How's everybody doing
Good.
out there in the world and the listeners? And how was your weekend?
It's good. Got to enjoy, well, not fully enjoy some football all weekend, but but it was nice to have a little bit of time off.
Yeah, I was at drill doing the Army thing this weekend, so I wasn't able to watch a lot of football, but I was able to follow some. And then, of course, I had the pleasure of working at a job after that has TVs, so I got to see some college football. I got to see the end of the Clemson game and all that, so didn't get to see the Razorbacks game, but I got to follow it on my phone at work. So
Hey, I told you. What I tell you? I told you that Clemson and that A&M game was going to be the best game of the week.
yeah, you called it.
I mean, I don't know why. I just had a feeling that it was going to be that way.
Yeah, well, your feelings aren't always right because you were wrong about South Carolina. And we were both wrong about Penn State versus Pitt.
Yeah. I mean, can't always do that.
So are we doing this thing right now where we're opening our show that's about the Razorbacks and we're doing everything we can to, like, avoid jumping into the painfulness of Saturday?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, once again, I didn't get to see the game. Mainly because our job doesn't carry CBS Sports Network.
Yeah.
Which
I got lucky. I went to Lincoln's and my girlfriend's house, and she had it at her house. So.
Okay, cool.
So I actually got to watch it. I almost wish I hadn't now.
Yeah, I heard a lot about it. I heard about some things that happened in the game, and I was really happy I was right about the Devwall Whaley scoring the first touchdown from 3 yards out.
Yeah.
He had a good game, didn't he?
Oh, he had pretty much, I think he had a career game, actually.
So
If I'm not mistaken.
So the player of the week, I got that right. I definitely didn't get the score right or the outcome right. The one thing I would like to say before we dive into this is, so I'm in the Arkansas Army National Guard, thus there are lots of Arkansas Razorback fans in my unit. Calm down. This may...
It's the first. This might come as a surprise to you, being that it's me, and I'm usually the one that's very, very vocal and very, very angry with losses, and I was not even mad. I wasn't even mad because, this year is one of those years where I think that you pretty much go in knowing that you are gonna have you're gonna have a rebuilding year, so I'm not really gonna be mad about it, so to say, but I mean, it sucks giving up a big lead like that because it shouldn't have happened, but at the same time, it's what are you gonna do when your offense doesn't work and you're stagnant on offense and your run game is the only thing you have. I mean, it's not going to work. You got to have both. You got to have both the run and pass game to be effective. Because if you're not, you're going to have 3 and outs, and you're going to have the defense getting worn out, just like it happened Saturday. Because I put it more. I mean, I'm not really directing blame on one unit because it's you win as a team, you lose as a team. But I just feel like a lot of that was the fact that our defense had to be on the field for so long because we could not get a score in the second half to save our life. So, I mean, I don't think we did ourselves any favors.
No, not at all. I just, people were freaking out and talking about how the coach can't coach and he's terrible, and I'm like,
right.
We knew this was coming. It was our first. It was our coach's first game on the road. A lot of these players' first time on the road. Ty Story's first start.
Right.
And he didn't play well. It doesn't mean he's trash. He had a bad game.
I'm starting to think that with this whole quarterback situation, we just need to do like Florida did with Tim Tebow and Chris Leak, and just have both of them play. Because there's things that Ty Story can do, and there's things that Cole Kelly can do. I think that Ty Story is the better, more mobile guy, that can run around and run the scrambling plays and the stuff that you need to escape the pocket and run. Not necessarily where it's just going to be quarterback runs, but stuff where it requires you to stay in the, like, be able to move around a little bit, like on bootlegs and stuff like that. But with Cole Kelly, whenever you're just doing plays where you're just handing the ball off or play action or something and you're not having to actually move around much, I think that's the type of plays that Cole Kelly needs to stay in for, because he's got the stronger arm. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
I mean, it's pretty evident that he's got the stronger arm. Now, I almost would say that Ty has the more accurate arm, but Saturday kind of disproved that. So, I mean, I just feel like with Ty being the more mobile guy, that he kind of needs to you just kind of need to have him and Cole Kelly playing. I mean, even too, they were saying on Saturday, or they were saying too, it's like we need to test out and see what Dalton Hyatt can do. Like, I mean, it's pretty evident that Cole and Ty are not going to be fits for this offense past this year.
That who aren't?
That Cole Kelly and Ty Story are probably not going to be fits for this offense past this year. I mean, why not try? Why not let Dalton Hyatt get some playing time and try to get some experience? Because, I mean, if he shows that he has at least some comprehension of being able to run in this play style, then we need to let him play. Because, I mean, if these other two are not going to be good for the offense, then why keep them out there? I mean, that's just my thought.
I mean, because you're playing in the SEC and you really don't, for recruiting purposes, you don't want to go 0-8 in the SEC trying to figure out your quarterback situation.
Yeah.
At this point, it's year one. The offense, so you can only run an offense if you have the personnel to run that offense, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't think that, Dalton Hyatt may be more suited to fit that offense, but if he's not ready to play, you can't just throw him out there because he fits. And I'm not saying he isn't or he is. I don't know. But it's one of those situations where I have one quarterback that does one thing well and I have another quarterback that does one thing well. I mean, for all the crap that we give the Allen brothers, I mean, for the offense that Bielema ran, they were suited to run that offense.
Yeah.
Now, had either one of those guys been on the roster this year under Chad Morris, they would have transferred because they wouldn't have played. So they just don't fit what he's trying to do at all. You have Cole Kelly, who was already there, and Ty Story, who was already there, and I don't know, the quarterback situation. And actually, Arkansas won the time of possession, which if you look at that, you'd be like, okay, well, their defense wasn't on the field that much. But if you go and look at the second half, I mean, 9 plays, 91 yards, touchdown.
Man.
1 play, touchdown. So you get points, but your defense is now right back on the field.
Mm-hmm.
4 plays, -2 yards, missed field goal. 5 plays, 25 yards, punt. 3 plays, 2 yards, minute 39, punt. 4 plays, 1 yard, 2 minutes, 31 seconds. So, yeah, like, the defense just ran out of gas.
Yeah. I mean, like I've said time and time again, both college and the pros, you can only keep your defense on the field so long before you pay for it.
Yeah.
And then the fact that our kicking game reared its ugly head again, that didn't help matters either.
No.
I mean, at what point does Arkansas ever find a kicker that you can count on to make field goals? Like, is it ever going to happen? I mean,
yeah, it seems like it's just a reoccurring theme that. But you get a lot of that in college too. I mean, it's not just the Hogs.
Oh, I know. I mean, that's why I was watching other games during the day, and I had there was one at one point where I tweeted out hashtag college kickers, because it's just like they're all, not all of them are bad, but it's just like the greater majority of them are just like, oh my god, dude, come on.
But are these colleges really recruiting kickers, or are they like? Because here's the thing, like, I've been to high school games, and I've never, I've never been to a lot, but I've never just seen some kicker that wowed me, right?
Right.
Like, they'll find some guy and he's like, wow, he's got a leg on him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but where did the kid go to school, and what pressure situations did he kick, and what was the atmosphere in which he kicked? Because that stuff does matter, right? If you
Kicker, I mean, you look at college though, you see like kickers that are just like you see the most like out of nowhere stories are usually punters and kickers because they're like you literally can just pick a guy up from off the street most of the time. I mean, you could have just like guys that are just going to school. Like I was watching somebody, I cannot remember who it was. It was a little bitty short dude, shorter than me, out there kicking. But like he was like the custodian or something for the football, like the athletic department or something like that. And then he got like a scholarship as a kicker. Like it's just the thing. You just find kickers and punters off the street. Doesn't mean they'll all be good or whatever, but that's most of the time what it is. Like you just don't spend time worrying about kickers and punters if you're a coach most of the time. You get somebody that you can roll with and just deal with it.
Because I think it's stupid.
But it is
because especially in college, like you just see so many bad field goal misses and extra. Like people act like Alabama's kicker has missed 3 extra points in 2 games already. You don't think Nick Saban thinks that's a problem?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just Arkansas. Now I'm assuming the kicker has been making his field goals, but
right.
I mean, you get to the NFL and if a dude misses like anything 40 and in, you're like, oh, you better not miss too many more of those or they'll find somebody else quick.
Right.
In college, it's like you said, you've got guys that are converted soccer players. You can go, like in high school, like they said, like Ian said last week, you can just go find some dude out there kicking a soccer ball and be like, hey, we can teach you to kick this ball.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's a concern.
I mean, I would think so too, but yeah, I mean, it's just such a I mean, it's big, but it's not like the biggest thing. But well, it's big whenever you need those points, though. That's all I can say.
Because that missed field goal changed the trajectory of the game. If he makes that field goal,
like if you're in Alabama, it doesn't like if you're an Alabama type team, it's not going to bother as much for you because you're going to get your points regardless.
Unless that game comes down to the end and you have a shaky kicker.
Yeah. But 9 times out of 10 for an Alabama,
but let's talk about that 10th time. It's called the Auburn-Alabama game.
Oh, I know.
Special teams lost them the chance to play for the national championship.
Sure. But 9 times out of 10 with Alabama type teams, though, it's not going to matter. But
because they're going to blow people out.
But teams like Arkansas that are always seeming to find themselves in close games, it matters.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't get away with doing the bare minimum and thinking you're going to get away with it because it's just not going to work for you. But I liked that we found our run game though. I mean, I was kind of unexpected. We did in the run game what I thought we would do in the pass game.
Well, they gave up like 200 plus yards of rushing a game too.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I didn't think that we would just flip the script where we went off passing the ball like that one game and then just turn around and start running the ball all over the place the next game. It's like, for me, it was like one end of the spectrum one week, one end of the spectrum the other week on offense. I mean, I think maybe it's just wishful thinking. I'm hoping that they kind of pull themselves together this week and put both of them together at the same time because, okay, we figured out what we can do to throw the ball in the first week. We figured out what we can do to run the ball in the second week. Why? Let's try to do a little bit of both of that in the third week and beyond. Like,
well, here's the thing: the quarterback came out early and wasn't good, and so instead of just having him out there, like sometimes games like this are weird because sometimes as much like I would think our coaching staff would like to be balanced, but I mean these are real games that they're in now, and they're having to kind of see what these players can do in real games on the fly.
Right. And also for everybody out there listening, I posted a poll question about should Dalton Hyatt be factored into the into this quarterback battle that we have going on right now, since neither Ty Story nor Cole Kelly have thoroughly impressed yet. So, go out there and vote. Let us know what you think. All that. You want to get down to some of the breakdown of this game?
I mean, you can. I didn't watch the game.
Let's see. I'm gonna pull up some stats here. We had.
I've got the game stats already pulled up.
Oh, okay.
But you can pull them up since.
Yeah, I'll be talking about them. Give me just 1 second. Working. Where is it? I hate this ESPN app. Okay, here we go. Okay, we had. Actually, looking at stats, Cole Kelly actually had a pretty good game when he came into the game. Cole Kelly went 6 of 9 for 102 and 2 touchdowns, which one of those touchdown passes was basically a run because that was the T.J. Hammonds play where he just pitched it to him on a reverse and he took it around the other side for like 60-something yards for a touchdown. But he went 6 of 9 for 102 and 2 touchdowns. Now, I will say this. Cole Kelly had one play in that game where he didn't get the touchdown on it, but he put that ball right on the spot on Jordan Jones, and he missed it. He missed that touchdown by half a foot. Like he tapped the inbounds foot at the same time he tapped the out of bounds foot. I mean, he missed it by just about that, just inches. Inches he missed that touchdown by. So Cole Kelly did play a pretty good game. I give it to him, but it should have been better. Colorado State's defense has been atrocious this year, especially through the air.
I mean, he was 6 of 9 for 102 yards, 11.3 and 2 TDs with a 76 QBR.
Yeah, and then you had Ty Story, who was 5 of 13 for 36 and 2 interceptions and no touchdowns. So
yeah, so the 5 of 13 is why you saw him go to the run game more. It's like
here's the one thing I had that confused me about that whole thing Saturday was we saw in the first game how quick the trigger was to pull Cole Kelly out of the game in favor of Ty Story. We didn't see that in the second game with the other way around. That was the weird part to me because if he was that fast to pull the trigger on inconsistent quarterback play in the first game through 3 series, why was he not just as quick to pull the trigger on bad quarterback play the next game? I mean, it was pretty obvious to everybody watching that Ty Story was struggling in that game. And he kept him in the entire first half.
If you pull your quarterback every time he struggles, though, and if you do it to both your quarterbacks, then I kept saying that time to bring in Cole Kelly. It's like, what do y'all want to do? Like quarterbacks are gonna play bad. But then this is why that drives me crazy. Some people will say that, and they're like, "But Tim Tebow won a playoff game," and it's like, yeah. And if we would have done what you just said to Tim Tebow, we would have never seen him in those fourth quarters because he was awful the first 3. Mm-hmm. Now I'm not saying that he's awful. I didn't think he should have pulled Cole Kelly that fast in the first game. Because there's no way we were losing to Southern Illinois or East Illinois or whoever the hell we played. All right, this game on the road, you want to see how your quarterback responds to adversity. So we can't go the whole season and after 2 series be like, oh, he ain't getting it done. It's like a lot of times those first 2 series, and especially the first series, is kind of getting an idea what the defense is going to do.
Right.
That's why I don't trip when my team goes 3 and out or gets 1 first down and punts on a first series because they're really just filling out the defense. It's a feel. I mean,
I would have gave him the first quarter, but if he's still struggling,
they were winning. That's why.
If he's still struggling like almost halfway into the second quarter, then it's time. Like you've had an entire quarter and a half. Like it's time to see if somebody else can get it. Right? Well, I mean.
Because you can't do that every game. It looks great on that. It's like, oh, we'll bring Cole Kelly in.
It's not a matter.
Then what happens if Cole Kelly comes out there and is garbage? He's going to go to the next guy, then the next guy, and then the coach after the game is going to be like, who's your quarterback week 3? And then you go in and then
we don't have one.
And then Cole, well, you can't just play all 3. We're going to go 0-8 in the SEC if that happens. You've got to let I know it sucks that we lost, but so what happens? Okay, so then he's like, okay, well, you know what? Ty Story didn't play well, so this week Cole Kelly's back to being the starter. Cole Kelly comes out there and we have to punt 3 times and he throws for 10 yards. Okay, now I got Ty Story back in there. Ty Story lights it up, but then he throws 2 picks and we lose to North Texas. Now you're going into the SEC and you have no idea because you've never let a quarterback play a whole game. So what's going to happen if that quarterback's hot? And also think about this. You've been playing both quarterbacks both games. What happens if Cole Kelly does the opposite? So Cole Kelly comes out and he throws for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and you don't bring in Ty Story. Then all of a sudden, game 4 comes along and Cole Kelly plays really well, but we lose. You don't play Ty Story. Then Ty Story is now in a bad situation where he has to go to the coaching staff and say, hey, I really would appreciate it if y'all don't play me the rest of the season because of the new transfer, or the new redshirt rule, because I've already sat here for 3 years.
He's already been redshirted, though.
Okay, well, hypothetically, hypothetically. So, yeah. Or you just get to the point where he goes out there and stays on the team and then he transfers. So, or you've killed his confidence and now we don't have good quarterbacks.
I'm glad you brought it.
I hate 2 quarterback systems, always have.
I do too, but when neither one of them have impressed, you gotta. I mean, it sucks, and I see, and I absolutely.
Then run the Wildcat.
It sucks, and I absolutely agree with what you're saying that it kills the confidence. But when neither one of them have confidence enough to be consistent, then you really are left with no choice as a coach. You kind of have to.
No, you throw one out there and you ride with him.
I mean, you can see it from both sides. I mean, I can see it
because
from both sides.
Because if they play 2 quarterbacks the next game, I probably won't watch the Razorbacks this season because now I'm starting to think we have an indecisive coach.
It's not even so much.
You've had spring practice. You've had fall practice. You've had plenty of time to see both of these, all these guys.
But it's different.
It's not different
in game scenarios, though.
No. Play one guy, and if he doesn't, you bench him. You're not playing again. You're done unless he gets hurt. Start Cole Kelly for a whole game.
Okay.
I would have rather seen Ty Story play that whole entire second game and us still lose. And then we go back in the film room and be like, you know what, Ty? We gave you the game. I know we want to give you another game, but you're not the guy. Because a whole game will tell you a lot more than this 2 quarters. Because if I'm Ty Story, and you tell me this week, hey, listen, we put you in there, it didn't work out. I'm going to tell you it was 1 half. Like, right. You're judging my entire opportunity. They should have played 1 guy in the first half and 1 guy in the second half in all 3 games, evaluated both of them, and then made a decision. Because we're going to get beat by 70 by Alabama if this is going on. Mm-hmm. Which this year, I don't care. This year, I just don't want to go 0-8 in the SEC. I want to see, and this is what I also say, I want this thing to build. Chad Morris hasn't coached this team before. Was behind in recruiting, so there's a lot going on. So this year is a feel-out year. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
The 4th down play where he punted, where people are like, oh, he's a stupid coach, he should have ran.
I can see that. I mean, I can understand the anger with that.
Yeah, first off, fans, you don't coach, and let the coach make a decision, and now he has to answer for that decision. But, dude, I'm like, if you know so much about football, go coach. Because these are people that play NCAA and Madden. It's like, oh, I mean, okay, I get it. Yeah, I would, and I agree with them. I would have gone for it on 4th down too.
So would I.
But we're not the coach.
No.
And so now people are already turning on Chad Morris. He sucks. He doesn't belong here. He can't be here. Oh, I've heard it. Trust me, from like 15 people in my unit. And I'm like, dude, we lost a game on the road to a team that scores a lot of points. That throws the ball a whole lot, and our secondary is obviously isn't that good.
And not to mention the fact that it's not like they just had some scrubs that scrubbed like 2- and 3-star players that beat us. They had beat us with a guy that was a 4- or 5-star recruit at Washington that transferred. They beat us with a receiver that was a 4- or 5-star recruit at Tennessee before he transferred. Like, those were the guys. Their quarterback and that receiver were the ones killing us. I mean, it's not like we're losing to just some scrub players. We're losing to. I mean, yes, it's not all about 1 or 2 players. It's about a team. It's a team effort, sure. But when their main player when their main receiver getting the ball is the guy that you know is getting the ball and he's still beating you,
right?
I mean that just tells you that the guys have talent. I mean, we have talent on defense. You've seen that, but you can't expect, even with the best talent, you can't expect your defense to be out there 80% of the time and not expecting to get tired. I mean, it's just going to happen that way. It doesn't matter who it is. It don't matter if you're Alabama. You're going to get worn out. I mean, it's just how it is. I mean, I'll say this, though. like I said, our rushing game did really well. We had 53 carries for pretty much for 299, so basically 300 yards rushing in that game, which I'll take that all day, every day. Now, if we can just get, okay, let's say we do have Cole Kelly starting next game, just hypothetically,
Okay.
and he keeps up with this kind of performance that he had in this Colorado State game. He builds off of a limited snap 6 for 9 for 102 and 2 touchdown game. Mesh those two together, your offense is going to be fine. I mean, if you can mesh an offense that basically hit for 300 yards rushing with a quarterback that has shown potential in even bigger games than these that he can actually play, then you should be able to have a good enough offense to keep your defense off the field. I mean, if we can keep our defense, that's the main thing. If we can keep our defense off the field all the time, then we can have. If we can keep them off the field, we should be perfectly fine, because in that very first half, our defense looked amazing. But it just all boils down to not having enough depth on defense, for one, and for two, just being too worn out but with the guys that we do have. And another thing that people forget about that game, we did not have Ramsey playing because he had a hamstring injury, and we didn't have Dre Greenlaw playing in that game because he was injured. So, I mean, given what we had to work with, and given the fact that they spent so much time on the field, yeah, we blew a 20-something point lead. But I don't put that all on the defense. I don't put it all on the offense. It's just one of those things in a rebuilding year.
Yeah.
Plus, you got to think too. Not only are we rebuilding, we took a rebuilding team on the road.
Yeah.
In Colorado, in the mountain, in the high elevation scenario, like.
Where these guys have never played before.
Right. I mean, they're not used to playing like in conditions like that. I mean, it's just different. It's different playing in that kind of environment, playing on the road. It's their first road game. I mean,
yeah.
You have yes, our talent should be better than theirs. It should be. I agree with that, but sometimes you just get beat. I mean, sometimes situations are just too much for you. You just have too much going on at one time, and things just don't work out. I mean, I'm not mad about it. And was I upset about the way that game ended? Absolutely, but was I mad, so to say? No, I was just more disappointed than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, it's a loss. I mean, I hate when indictments on a team are made after one game.
Right.
Like, so they lost, and one quarterback didn't play well. The other quarterback didn't. The other one, because all I heard after that game was it's Ty Story's time, and then 2 drives into the game, I'm hearing time to put Cole Kelly in, and it's like
I'm guilty of that.
Oh yeah, I was talking about you. I was like you, Andy, and sitting on there on the Facebook. And I'm like, I wasn't even watching the game, but I'm like, the game just started. Like, calm down. Like, I know he went 5 for 13, but there's a different example of that. Yesterday, Eli Manning started off 11 of 11. He completed 10 of like his next 32. So just because you start out like Matt Jones, I'll use a Razorback example. Miracle on Markham.
Mm-hmm.
You know what Matt Jones was going into that drive?
I can't.
3 of 13 for like 60 yards or something, or like terrible. And he comes back and they win the game.
I'm glad you looked that up, because I would have never.
I didn't look it up. I remember watching the game and getting kicked out of my parents' house because every time my buddy came over to LSU once, so my dad kicked us out of the house, and we went to the mall. And as we're pulling into the mall, Matt Jones throws that pass to Corey Birmingham, and we like run through the mall and start screaming and yelling. And you can do that because we're in Arkansas. But yeah, I just want him to find a quarterback and stick to it, because I know we don't have a preseason in the NFL. I'm not advocating in the NCAA. I'm not advocating for one, because the last thing we need is college kids playing more football. But this is why when people are like, oh well, these teams need to schedule harder games in every single game, and it's first off, it's college, so the kids are, in theory, still doubling up as students and athletes. So it's not like they just get to do football all day long. So they're gonna.
Right.
So yeah, they schedule the cupcakes, and that's supposed to get your team ready. And we have another one, North Texas. So I'm sure that Coach Morris is teaching them right now in practice, or whenever practice is, about whatever happened this weekend. If we still have problems against North Texas, it'll be worrisome. But I'm giving him this whole year. Like, they're not going to fire him after this year.
No, they're not going to fire him for a while. If they.
But I'm not even talking about that. I'm just saying, like, this year. I'm not talking about next year, but this year is a give me year. Just like Bielema's first year was a gimme year. Like, hey, like, we understand what you're going up against. Try to win some SEC games, but I mean, no matter if I think the only way there'd be serious questions of, well, we can't go 0-12 because we already have a win, right?
Right.
So as long as we beat Tulsa and North Texas, I think we're fine. Now, because you have to take all these games in the offseason and then analyze them, and then there needs to be some kind of improvement in year 2. But everywhere, like when he was at SMU, had an first year, improved the second year, third year.
And then by the time he left, the year that he left, he was having his team in a bowl game.
And you see what that team looks like without him. Now, minus they played pretty well against TCU, but
in the first quarter,
the quarterback's not nearly as good without Chad Morris.
No, and he's not nearly as good.
TCU was turning the ball over. That's what they were doing.
Yeah.
I saw 2 turnovers back to back in that game.
Yeah.
Because like you were like, oh, and then like I walked over to 67 and TCU is picking up the ball and running it for a touchdown. Which I get it. Like, I mean, we're sports fans, but. Just my whole message to the fan base is just calm down. It's the second game. We're not going to win a national championship this year. We're not going to win the division. Probably not going to go to a bowl, but it would be nice.
It's funny for me this year. I'm in a funny kind of... I have this funny kind of thing going on internally during games this year. It's like, when we do hear something really good, I get hyped. But whenever something bad happens, I'm just like, kind of like, okay. I don't even get mad because I know it's a rebuilding year. Like, I just know... I mean... I put myself in the mental space this year for this season where if something bad happens, I'm not going to flip out over it because I just know that it's chalked up to new defense, new scheme, rebuilding. Yes, a lot of our defense is returning starters, but they're playing in a new system. I mean, defense is defense, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't make as much difference, I guess, as it would on offensive changing systems. But how
good was that defense last year?
Not
good.
You can definitely see signs of what Chavis is doing for this defense, though, because we're more aggressive. Like we fly to the ball a lot better, and we don't just like sit. Except at the second half of that game, when they were winded. You know, we don't just sit back and just give them like 6 yards of cushion on receivers anymore, where they just catch it and they just have to run up and tackle, and hopefully they tackle them and don't miss. Like, it's not that anymore. At least we play sound football and we fly to the ball now. So I kind of like that. I just feel like we don't have enough bodies. That's just my thing. I just feel like we don't have the depth and we don't have the talent level built up yet in our defense to be truly be competitive enough yet. Well, we'll get there.
Did Arkansas have any top 25 recruiting classes the last 2 years? Under Bielema? So most of the people that are playing are Bielema recruits that weren't in a part of a top 25 recruiting class. And so Dad had been there a couple years. Don't we have a lot of recruits that aren't on campus yet?
Yep.
So not only is Chad Morris having to recruit players that have talent, he's having to coach up his staff and him are having to coach up players that
aren't fit for the system.
Well, not even the system. I'm just saying that aren't that good.
Right.
If all we have are 2 and 3 stars,
right.
I know they're high school kids, and I'm just saying comparatively to other programs. I'm not saying you college kids are trash.
No.
Listen, they're rated the way they're rated for a reason. They get recruited where they're recruited for a reason. There's a reason why that kid years ago was at PA and threw for 1 billion yards, and then he went and played at Washita Baptist. Because they were like, okay, you're really good in this system, but we know good and well that like you go and play against Alabama, they're gonna eat you up. Like recruiters know this. Like I call it the coaches that recruit recruiters, whatever. So
We get it.
we don't have the talent base. Like
Now we got guys like Santos Ramirez and.
I'm not saying we don't have good players.
No. I know. I'm just saying, but I'm just saying in general, we have like Santos Ramirez, Drake Greenlaw,
Who didn't play?
who didn't play, Ryan Pooley, and then after that, Scooter Harris. Like after that, and so we have basically Greenlaw, Agim, Pooley, Ramirez. We have like 4, maybe 5 guys that you can depend on defense this year, and then the rest of them are guys you just kind of hope that you get good production from.
Right.
Now, like guys like Callaway, they're first time starters. Like I seen guys in there in that game Saturday that that I had remembered being on campus, but I hadn't seen them in games yet. Like there was a kid named McClellan that was in the game. I remember picking him up like a year or 2 ago in the recruiting class. That was the first I've seen of him play. I mean, you got to give these kids a chance, man. You got to let these kids get on the field and learn what they're doing. I mean, nobody's going to be just a freaking NFL draft pick level player stepping straight on the field during their first game. It's just not going to work that way.
Oh, absolutely.
And with that said, we're going to hit a break real quick, and
I was just gonna text you that.
and we will be right back.